Hey guys, it's Maple here once again with another build, and this time around we are talking Occultist Forbidden Rite. Now, Occultist, as you can see and as you already know, feels super fucking good on clear. This is a Forbidden Rite build, which means it's pure chaos, and then I'm doing a poison variant. I played Forbidden Rite last league as pure hit base, crit base, that sort of thing. It was a pretty good character in the end, and I had no real intention of doing Forbidden Rite again, but there was a MTX that came out and I did want to use it, and then at the same time I wanted a character that I knew would feel pretty good in today's content. So I wanted to take Forbidden Rite to a different area this time around. That was poison, so it's a just pure poison scaling character, and I'm also using some self-chill technology and just poison occultist sort of explosions with some plague bearer, and that feels really good for Sentinel. So a lot of this is just going to be like Sentinel highlight clips of explosions and shit. And overall, yeah, every occultist I've made in recent times has got amazing clear speed, and this is no different. And then of course for Sentinel, you can just like pop a whole bunch of it at once and then explode it all. Thanks to the occultist pops. So it's been amazing for Sentinel content and also for expedition content, and then I'm hoping it holds up for some single target and some sort of face tank playstyle, because that's kind of how Forbidden Rite wants to operate, and I'm seeing where I can take that. But the main thing I should mention about the self-chill thing that I'm currently doing is that it's using Ben's new ring, which chills enemies, but then you also get chilled whenever you get hit. With Forbidden Rite, whenever you're like casting, you're getting hit from some damage, and that's how I'm self-chilling through every single cast of Forbidden Rite. You then put on Winterweave, I think it is, ring, and that gives you reversing the effects of chill, which just means that instead of getting slowed by 30% for your chill effect, you get sped up by 30%. So 30% action speed is pretty damn juicy, and that helps for your cast speed, attack speed, movement speed. So shield charge, moving around, and our cast speed's all pretty thick. And on top of that, you get Replica Hothead Jewel, which is another 20% cast speed. Overall, it's been a very fun sort of interaction. First time I've ever touched some self-chill shit, and you can get this going at level 16 for the chill ring, and then level 24, I think it is, for the other ring that reverses the chill effect. So right from very, very early game, you can start leveling with some pretty speedy, zoomy chill effect, and that feels really nice. As for the Forbidden Rite itself, Forbidden Rite is a skill that basically damages you every single time you cast with it and use it, and deals a lot of damage, mostly chaos or entirely chaos. So you have to mitigate it by capping out your chaos resist, and in this case I've capped chaos resist as well as got a little bit of recoup, some regen, and then some life gain on hit. And to talk more about the life gain on hit, I've just got the Vitality Watcher's Eye, so I've got 30 life gain on hit, and typically you get more from rings as well, but because I'm using the dual reverse chill technology on the rings, I can't afford to do any of that, and that's where the next part of the build probably comes in. Chances are I'm going to end up dropping the self-chill. It's been cool, it's been pretty fun, but not having an extra 30 plus spell life gain on hit just seems a bit too bad for the end game. So like I've done lots of mapping and got to 92, something like that, pretty quick. But once I started doing a couple of bosses just to sort of test myself a little bit, not having a bit more life gain on hit just felt bad, because my recovery isn't quite what it should be. I can't quite stand still and spam, and also then recover if I'm going to take any damage. So the self-chill technology, I could still recommend it for most of the character and for plenty of leveling and all that sort of shit, but I feel like I'm going to have better results removing it and reworking the tree a little bit. So that's what will be most likely happening on stream today, and I'll also try out some Endgame and all of that. But so far, single target's pretty good. If you can stand still and attack, it's going to be like 10 to 20 mil in DPS or some shit. I also did try to Simulacrum and got to wave 29, so I think it's doable to get wave 30, but it's a bit RNG as to what map mods you get, because some of them really do shaft this type of a character, like cannot slow, everything gets faster, chaos res, that sort of shit. But either way, it got 29 or something. So I'm probably going to try and revamp it a bit still. So the character's still a work in progress, but it is good enough to show you what it's like right now and how it's been put together thus far. I do think Forbidden Rite's a pretty good skill still. Forbidden Rite cast on crit, I think, is still one of the highest meta tier skills out there, or builds, with the right investment. But this one doesn't cost too much, and it's been pretty fun, just for Sentinel and Atlas content. So let's show you how it looks so far. So here's the character so far, level 92, raining cats and dots, which, you know, kind of makes sense. It's a cat MTX. There it is, cats flying from the sky and damage over time because they're poison. Very clever name from someone in chat. So level 92 Occultist, and it doesn't have too much life, as you can tell, but I did try and build it a bit thicker. It's very similar to like the Poison Spark sort of play style and character, and I know that that one I didn't build thick enough on for, you know, overall comfort. So I tried to do that a bit more this time around, but obviously the life total is still a bit low, and that's where a bit of a respec may come in for the end game, but we'll see. So far, it's been fine. You know, this life total is fine because we do have some sort of thickness. It's not a whole bunch, but it's enough to, you know, keep you alive during maps and all that. With Flasks up, something like that, capped on all res, capped on chaos res, and some good regen and also some damage reduction onto enemies. So the main important thing I just wanted to show you real quick is the self-chill technology. So thanks to this ring, I did want to use it to actually chill enemies pretty potently as well and reduce their incoming damage. But since it's just a poison build, we don't hit hard enough to really do that. So I'll do it again in the future on some other character. So it's basically strictly used just to self-chill. Because every single time Forbidden Rite casts, it deals 40% max life and 25% as chaos damage, and that means that you hit yourself. So there it is, every time I hit myself, chilled, and then we reverse it thanks to this ring. Effective chill on you is reversed, gives you all that extra action speed, and then with this jewel over here, replica hothead, you can just start out leveling at level 24, really zoomy with good cast speed, attack speed, and it's a pretty cool interaction. But like I said, it's currently taking up both my ring slots, which is somewhat important for life gain on hit. You can get spell life gain on hit on rings, and not having that is a bit of a kick in the nuts for Forbidden Rite, since we are constantly taking damage. As you can see, I don't have that much recoup. I've only really managed to take the top wheel at the moment, because I've been relying on that leech and life gain on hit. There are recoup nodes over here. You can get recoup on rings. You can also like increase your recovery rate and all that sort of shit. So all of that shit would have been good, but currently this is all I've got, and that's what my tree looks like. It's taken a whole bunch of poison. It's getting some dexterity and strength because I really need that, but it's largely just focused around poison, chaos damage, and a little bit of life here or there. So you do need some way to make the skill poison, and the way we've done that in this build at the moment is through the passive tree for some of those poison nodes, and also Divergent Herald of Agony. Where are you? There you are. So the Divergent gives you an extra 20% chance to poison. By default, it already gives you 20% chance. So then it gives you 40 in total. And then through the tree, I think, and also these nodes here that buff the effect of that Herald, we do end up capping the poison. But early on, I was just using lesser poison support to get my poison capped. At the moment, though, the links are Void Manipulation, Divergent, just for some Chaos Leech, because I'm stuck with these gloves at the moment. Unbound Ailments, Spell Echo, Deadly Ailments, GMP, and Forbidden Rite itself. And most of the time I am mapping with both GMP and Greater Volley. In theory, if all of those proj hit at once, then they do overlap, and that is the biggest single target you can do. But in practice, some bosses, or most bosses, just aren't big enough to have a hitbox that's going to get overlapped by all of that. So we are most of the time just GMPing for single target, and using Awake and Deadly Ailments. But I map with Greater Volley, and for a lot of mapping process, I was just on a 5-link and didn't have spell echo either, and that does make things a bit more comfortable in mapping, but for pure ramp, this is probably the way forward in the end. So as far as the gloves are concerned, I did pick these up at like level 24. You know, Nocturnal Caress, usually pretty good leveling gloves, and you can get them with Curse on Hit for not very expensive. But because of my rings being so locked in at the moment, I do need some Despair on Hit somewhere, and I've kept it on these gloves. You can get Despair on Hit on lots of different gloves. Even, you know, High Templars are usually pretty good rolls. But these have some extra little cast speed, and then also Frenzy and Endurance on Kill, which is pretty nice. So I've kept them into Endgame so far, but if I do the revamp to get rid of Self-Chill, I might grab a Despair Ring and then do some sort of different pair of gloves. We'll wait and see. The rest of the gear is just trying to get a bit of res, suppress, and life. So suppress life, etc. Suppress life. Crafted that myself. Forbidden Rite Enchant is pretty good, an additional proj there. I then went with an amulet that I tried to just smash together. So this was using jewelry recombinators. Took like 3 or 4 goes or something before I hit damage over time combined with cast speed and +1 gems. You can go even harder with, you know, chaos damage over time and also a +1 all to spells as well as +1 to chaos. Still tried to keep it somewhat, you know, budget-ish, but we also do need stats on this build, so it's a bit annoying to fix stats without rings available, so you do need strength and dexterity. So my belt is largely there to focus on strength, and then that's got some dexterity. This is a recombinator as well, so I took a +1 chaos basic bitch, cast a shield, and then smashed it with a, well, it was a fracture, but it didn't really matter in the end. Fractured buckler of some kind to have just some chaos res and some nice suffixes. I was trying to get suppress on it, but that got deleted, and then the rest of the shield just kind of survived. So it should be pretty easy to make some good hybrid suppress / chaos shields. With just some armor combinators, but that's what we've got, and that's what I stuck to. Tried to get some life regen as well. And then the chest I just straight up bought for like 1x, which just has a lot of evasion energy shields. You do need a bunch of energy shields so you can actually cast off of Eldritch Battery, and I was going to do the usual Gravicious 10% life as energy shield craft, but it's worth a little bit less than just a lot of extra hybrids. So this thing already existed with some suppress and, you know, a bunch of life and all that sort of shit. So I just decided to buy that. Ideally, you are still going an armor evasion chest, and then it's got good rolls, and then you craft that Gravicious thing yourself. You do need at least 1,000 ES, and that's where the chest comes in pretty clutch. To cast, if you don't have that much, then you can't really chain self-cast, and Eldritch Battery will run out. Because it's just based off a regen, basically, recharge rate, whatever the fuck. But I want even more. At the moment, I can actually go at this rate, so a little bit more might still go a long way. And like I said, my respec in the end is probably going to end up dropping all of this and going out this way to just get a different set of life nodes, bit of energy shield as well. And then the wand, grabbed a fractured +1 chaos, that cost like 100 C or some shit. And then just used cast speed essences and used like 100 of them or some shit. Got trash rolls and then bought another pile of them, and then on that first pile of the next rolls, just got double damage over time with a spare prefix. So it worked out pretty well. You can obviously do some real recombinator shenanigans to get much better results, like +1/+1, but this is about as good as it's going to get without going overboard, and I'm very happy with that. Damage over time is good, but we've already got a lot of damage over time multiplier, so in actual fact, percent chaos is pretty damn big, so make sure you do manage to craft that. Just every like individual extra damage node like this shit, even something as basic as this 20 damage over here, is pretty damn good because we're so low on actual percent damage. We've got quite a decent amount of multiplier. So yeah, then we've got Divine Blessing attached to Malevolence. I'm running Determination, Herald of Agony, Defiance Banner, Vitality, and used a bunch of aura nodes and shit to fit all of that in. I wanted to get Tempest Shield as well, so I could be immune to shock and a bit of extra block, but I'm kind of strapped for gem sockets in general, and it's kind of tough to fit everything in already. Might still be reworking a few things, but yeah, otherwise we've got multi-totem with a spell totem, flame dash, Herald of Agony, shield charge, faster attacks, and cast when damage taken, blazing salvo, ball lightning, and these setups in a Forbidden Rite or something that self-harms like this typically are used purely for life gain on hit, so these things hit pretty quickly and pretty often, and thanks to the Vitality Watcher's Eye, you do get a lot of that recovery from that during boss fights and during big encounters. So this is the basic like entry level for this type of a build is typically going to be getting a life gain on hit Watcher's Eye. Like you can go without it and just get some more recoup and that sort of shit, and then you're definitely going to want it on the rings, I think. But having all kinds of life gain on hit, so this and the rings, that's really where you start to become kind of super unkillable in the right situations. And yeah, don't particularly recommend going for a build without one of these. I think it's still doable, but you definitely wouldn't be doing the rings here. You'd be doing the life gain on hit rings, and then at the same time, you'd be where I'm at right now, which is a good enough perspective, a good enough point, but still wanting more. So I'm probably going to ditch this for life gain on hit rings and then see how that feels. It does suck though, because this is a lot of extra zoom. Like it brings a huge amount to the table, as you can see. This is me running around right now. This is me running around without it. And as well as that, for my shield charge, it's like so much faster with the reverse chill, but is what it is, probably got to do it. I've also taken this Lith Shade just so that I can have longer, more reliable chills. Maybe I'll get rid of that after unspecking it. So that's the character. It's a bit difficult to put together. Nothing here is super expensive. My wand is obviously probably the best piece, but you do need a lot of things to come together before everything feels really good. So the life gain on hit, the chaos res, decent life pool, some thickness, all of that sort of shit, and the recoup and life for regen, that sort of shit. Once you've all got it come together, you're occultist. You're going to be going off. My first 2 points went here, then I took the explosion, then I took the additional curse, and I'm not sure I actually mentioned that. My other curse right now is temp chains. So temp chains and blasphemy, so that's always applied around me, and then the on hit is from despair here. Oh boy, that's all I'll say. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the Forbidden Rite perspective from the poison point of view. I hope to have bit more of an endgame video next up for this guy. Hopefully I can take on some Ubers and shit. Don't know though. It is pretty standstill and face tanky, so we'll see how we go. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.